Hello everyone, this is Andres, President of the Penn State Pokemon Society. This is the championship battle with me, the challenger at the time, with the previous champion Patrick. This is the team preview right here. You know, I decided to run with Togekiss, Scizor, Ferrothorn, Terrakion, Gastrodon, Gliscor, and his team from last semester, which I heard got some modified sets. Aside from that, there's no changes. His team is Conkeldurr, Tyranitar, Latios, Starmie, Zapdos, and Jirachi. So we'll go ahead and get started with this battle. Let's go. Alright. So this is a 49 turn battle. It took over half an hour. No one was really watching because people were bored. There's my male fairy queen. No one likes. He leads the Jirachi. I go for the immediate switch because I'm at a disadvantage. He U-turns. I assume that it's a Scarf at this point because it's using U-turn. It just seems like a likely set to run. Goes into Conkeldurr. This thing gives me a lot of problems, especially now that it gets knockoff. I'm not too worried about it because I know he doesn't have too many grass attacks on his team, so I'm just like, I'll try to get some damage on it. My Gastrodon has special attack investment. I only did that much, so I assume that Conkeldurr has an Assault Vest on it. Now, I was afraid of a knockoff here, so I went to a Pokemon that I wasn't worried about losing the item, because, hint hint, I have a Mega item which cannot be knocked off or tricked. So that's my Mega Scizor. I just go for the Bug Bite to get some more damage on it. He Drain Punches. Considering Mega Scizor's bulk, I wasn't too worried about the matchup. I predicted the switch, so I go for a safe Roost, I think. Yeah, that's exactly what I did. I predicted the switch and I went for a safe Roost. Now I'm back at essentially almost full life. I know he has Heat Wave, Hidden Power Ice, and Thunderbolt on his Zapdos, which is really good at destroying a lot of wall combos, especially mine. Which is why having Gastrodon on my team gives me a huge advantage, because I have a tri-wall system that can conquer even that Zapdos. However, he gets a burn here, which means I can't really safely switch in and recover anymore. I think I went for the Ice Beam here, just to get some more damage on that Zapdos. Maybe? Nope, I switched too. I guess at the time I predicted he was going to switch. Yeah, that's exactly what I did, because the Togekiss now with its new Fairy typing has a really good matchup against Conkeldurr. And he was ready for that, so he switches to Jirachi, and I just go with a very safe Air Slash. Get some really passive damage. Well, actually it did more than I expected. So that Jirachi probably isn't too bulky. Jirachi goes for the U-turn again. I figured it might, so I get some Iron Barbs damage on it. Back into the Zapdos, the thing that I so desperately want dead. But it just won't die. At least not to a Ferrothorn. He predicts I'll switch, so he goes into Conkeldurr. And he's right, I did go for a switch. Into Terrakion, though. I think at this point Pat thinks he has the advantage. Little does he know that my Terrakion can drop Darmanitans with a Choice Band close combat. I think it does. It does a lot. If a Conkeldurr has some chip damage, no matter the EV spread, it's going down to a banded close combat. Now I think I got a little lucky here because I did not think the Starmie was Scarfed. So now he takes away my leftovers and he scarfs my Ferrothorn. But I'm not afraid. I go for the Leech Seed. I know his team has like 2 or 3 Pokemon that can defog or rapid spin, so I'm not going for rocks. I don't want to waste any time trying to set up hazards when I'm probably going to lose them anyways. So we both switch out at the same time. Again. I was afraid he might have a fire attack on his Tyranitar. Then he goes for the Stealth Rocks on immediately, so that's a little bit of a problem for me, but my team can deal with it for the most part. I went for a safe Bullet Punch again. I was really worried that Tyranitar might be running a fire attack, so I just wanted to make sure it would die. Also, I'm getting, at the very least, I'm getting decent chip damage on anything on his team, so I wasn't too worried about using Bullet Punch. Go back into Gastrodon, which normally would be able to deal with anything Zapdos can do. However, because of the burn damage, I'm not really at a safe range to recover. Hidden Power Ice will definitely kill Gastrodon at this point. I figure at this point I might as well hope that he either switches or let Gastrodon die, because by sending in, I think I sent in Terrakion at this point, which would give me some good momentum, because since my Terrakion's banded, anything that switches into Terrakion will take massive damage. And now the Tyranitar should die. Now I'm just going for a Banded Rock Slide will definitely kill Zapdos. So if he does decide to switch to stay in, the Rock Slide will kill the Zapdos. But at the same time, since it's banded and it's stabbed, the Rock Slide's doing a lot. It's even doing decent damage to Jirachi. So Rock Slide's a pretty safe move for me to use. Now, Starmie's faster than Terrakion, so I switch because I absolutely need Terrakion to kill the Zapdos. If I lose Terrakion, I cannot win the game. Ferrothorn's a safe switch into Starmie. He doesn't have any fire moves, and there are very few Starmies in the world that will use Focus Blast. So I'm not worried about switching into Starmie. Especially when it already used Trick, so it definitely doesn't have that many move slots left. We both go for a switch on the same turn again. Because I was trying to trap, the point was I was trying to trap the Zapdos in with my Terrakion, so I think it was a good switch on my part to try to get some more momentum. He goes into the Jirachi. I just go with a safe Rock Slide, and I think I'm pretty happy with that amount of damage. Granted, it was a crit, so now because I was afraid the Jirachi was Scarfed, I didn't stay in, and I was proven correct, because since normally Jirachi is slower than Terrakion, but since we both switched in the same turn, the Jirachi was faster, so it was Scarfed. At this point, we've been switching like crazy, predicting the other opponent is switching. So we're both double switching on a lot of different turns in order to try to obtain some momentum. So I decided to try to go and disrupt it and use what most of people would think is probably a useless Pokemon at this point, a Scarfed Ferrothorn. And I just Leech Seed like a boss every turn. Or not. I forgot. Oops. Again, Ferrothorn's a safe switch into Starmie. At this point, I really am. I think I'm just leech seeding everything with Ferrothorn to try to get some chip damage in on a lot of different Pokemon. Now the Jirachi's near dead, which is good for me. It's one less threat for Terrakion. He goes and uses Healing, which is not something I actually expected him to do. I mean, I guess at this point the Jirachi was essentially useless for him. I guess it gives Zapdos a bit more life. Which is a little disappointing for me, but at the same time, I know if I can hit Zapdos with a Rock Slide, it doesn't really matter how much life it has. He predicted that I would switch, but this is what I was talking about earlier. I just decided to stay in and just start to Leech Seed everything. This is what I was trying to get at earlier. Because most of the game we were switching a lot, I try to disrupt the momentum by not switching with a Pokemon that seems useless. Granted, his Pokemon are recovering a lot, so it's not necessarily getting me an advantage in terms of life percentage, but it's really just changing around the momentum of the match. And I like to think that I was frustrating Pat a bit, especially since the battle's taking a while. I believe was that a double switch? Yeah, we both switched on the same turn. Now, I'm pretty sure he goes for the Heat Wave here. And he probably doesn't expect me to do this. I go and switch into Ferrothorn to die. And the reason I did this is because I believe that it would set me up to finish off his team. Because then I would have Terrakion in on Zapdos again. And he doesn't have that many Pokemon that can really resist Rock Slide. Jirachi's dead. So it's a good situation for me. And that Banded Rock Slide is doing a lot of work. Now I'm afraid, I was afraid that the Latios might be faster in tracking. It does have higher base stats, but most Latios are bulky. So even though I knew it probably was slower than Terrakion, it was just too great of a risk for me to take. So I switch out. As most of you know, I do Scarf my Togekiss. I feel like as with the Scarf, it becomes a really good special sweeper. And it does it, and Togekiss does do its work. It takes out the Latios, and I think at this point Pat only has 2 Pokemon left. The Zapdos and the Starmie. The Starmie can still potentially wreck my team, barring the Togekiss, but you know, it's still a 2-hit KO, and Togekiss would have to get a flinch, which is not something I necessarily want to depend on. And at this point the Zapdos can hurt everything on my team, and Togekiss is at really low life, and their Stealth Rock's out. So if I switch out Togekiss, it's as good as dead. So essentially, I'm just locked into Air Slash, trying to get some damage on Zapdos until I die. I'm sacking Togekiss because there's no way it's gonna kill Zapdos, but I don't want to risk losing any other Pokemon on the switch. I did apologize, Pat, during this moment where I was essentially just flinching him like crazy. I tried to explain to him that I didn't really have an option, and he understood that. And of course he goes for the KO finally, so he can move on with the battle. Now, with Togekiss gone, my fastest Pokemon is Terrakion, because my Togekiss was Scarfed. Starmie is faster than Terrakion, and Starmie can totally kill Terrakion. So, I went for a prediction here, which was risky, but I went for the X-Scissor, which KOs the Starmie. The entire I'm not sure he even knew I had X-Scissor, because I had been going for Rock Slide the entire battle, and that still would have done more than half the Starmie. So, but I knew if I predicted the switch into Starmie, I would have had the KO, and I did, luckily. Now my Terrakion is banded, so I don't want to go into the Zapdos with the next Scissor, so I switch into Scizor. He's not using Heat Wave because he thinks that I might go for a switch. But at this point, I just want to have a free and safe switch into Terrakion to go for the OHKO. Now, if I miss Rock Slide, I can still lose the game, so even though it's only a 10% chance, I was still pretty worried. But with that attack, I don't miss, and I end the Zapdos, and that's the end of the game. It was a very close, hard-fought game by our previous champion, Patrick, so good game to him. And with that battle, I'm able to play Alex, who had beat Pat minutes before me. So we'll be showing that battle soon, shortly. Alright, thanks for watching.